Welcome back, everyone. Ready to dive deep again.
Always ready.
Awesome. Today we're tackling Carol Dweck's Mindset, the new psychology of success.
Ooh, a classic.
Right. Now, even if you've heard of it, we're going, deeper than the usual stuff,
Mhm.
like really digging into those key takeaways.
Mhm.
This one might just change how you approach, like, pretty much everything.
No kidding. Dweck's work, it really gets into how our beliefs, specifically about our abilities, she calls them mindsets, those shape our actions and the results we see. And I mean, we're not just talking about, acing an exam or getting promoted. We're talking relationships, personal growth, even how you bounce back from setbacks.
Exactly. Okay, so let's break down this core concept. Fixed mindset versus growth mindset. Imagine, picture this. You're trying to learn something totally new. Could be coding, a language, even just a new recipe, and you just hit a wall.
Frustrating. Right.
Totally. Now, someone with a fixed mindset, they might just give up. Say something like, I'm just not good at this.
Yeah, you hear that a lot. A fixed mindset, it's like they see abilities as set in stone, almost like you're born with a certain amount of talent and that's it. So any struggle, it feels like proof you're not good enough.
Yeah.
And so people start avoiding challenges altogether, missing out on all those growth opportunities.
Right. It's like they get scared to even try.
Mm-hmm.
Now, someone with a growth mindset, facing that same recipe disaster, they're more likely to think, okay, so this technique needs practice. What did I learn from this attempt? Like they see struggles as, I don't know, stepping stones.
Exactly. A growth mindset, they view abilities as something you cultivate. Every challenge, every single mistake, it's a chance to learn to expand your skill set.
I love that. And this leads us to one of Dweck's most famous takeaways,
Yeah.
the power of yet.
Yeah.
Transforming, I'm terrible at this, into I'm terrible at this, yet it seems so simple, right?
It's so simple, but it's so powerful. Because adding yet actually taps into your brain's natural ability to change and adapt. That's neuroplasticity. It means our brains are constantly forming new connections, learning throughout life. Yet, signals to the brain that growth is possible.
It's like you're telling your brain, hey, we're not there yet, but we're on the way.
Exactly. It's reframing limitation into possibility. And this applies to so much. Like, imagine wanting to switch careers later in life. A fixed mindset might whisper, it's too late. You're too old to learn all that. But add that yet in there.
Changes everything.
It does.
Yeah.
Suddenly it's, I may not have the experience yet, but I can put in the work and learn. It can be the push you need to actually take on those challenges.
Dweck's book is full of amazing examples. One that really got me was about how these mindsets play out in school. I mean, we've all heard you're so smart as praise.
It's well-intentioned, but praising just innate talent, it can actually nudge kids towards a fixed mindset because then they start to fear making mistakes. Like it threatens that smart label.
So they become risk averse, afraid to try new things, step outside their comfort zone because they don't want to look less intelligent.
Exactly. Now imagine a classroom where the focus is on praising effort, the strategies kids use. Wow, you really stuck with that problem. I'm impressed with how you figured out that solution. That kind of praise, it encourages a love of learning for its own sake, and it builds resilience when things get tough.
Yeah, it shifts the focus from being smart to becoming smarter, which applies beyond the classroom too. Think about feedback in a work environment.
Absolutely. Let's say you're managing someone. Instead of, this report wasn't good, you could say, I appreciate all the effort you put into this report. I noticed a few areas where we could strengthen the analysis. Let's work on those together. It's not about, sugarcoating. It's about framing things in a way that encourages growth and collaboration.
Right, it's focusing on improvement rather than labeling the person or their work as just good or bad. Feedback becomes less of a judgment, more of a step towards better results.
And that's a key takeaway here. A growth mindset helps us view feedback, even the tough kind, as valuable information. It's fuel for growth, not a personal attack.
Speaking of fuel for growth, Dweck talks about something called the false growth mindset.
Oh, yeah, that's an important one. Because it's one thing to say you have a growth mindset, but do your actions back that up? It's about walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
So what does that disconnect look like in real life? Like, how would our listeners spot that in themselves or others?
Think of someone who always says they're open to feedback, but the second they get any criticism, they get defensive, dismissive. They haven't actually embraced the growth mindset, just the words.
So they're kind of wearing a growth mindset mask, but deep down, they haven't really bought into their ability to change and grow.
Right. It's more about appearances than actual self-improvement. And that's why self-awareness is crucial. We need to be honest with ourselves. Are we truly embracing challenges? Or just telling ourselves we are? Are we actively looking for ways to learn and grow? If not, what's holding us back? What fixed mindset beliefs are in the way?
That's where the rubber meets the road. Recognizing those moments when we're saying, I can't, or I'm not good at this, and choosing to reframe our thinking. Like you said earlier, we're not there yet.
Exactly. And that's what makes Dweck's work so powerful. She's not just telling us to think differently, she's giving us tools to actually rewire our thinking patterns, recognizing those fixed mindset thoughts, and actively choosing a better, more empowering way to think.
So how do we actually put this into practice? Dweck has some very concrete advice on cultivating a growth mindset, making it part of our everyday lives. Let's dig into that right after this.
So one of the best things, one of the most effective strategies that Dweck really highlights in the book is being really conscious of how we talk to ourselves. Like instead of saying, "Ooh, I'm such a failure," it's more like, "Okay, that didn't quite go as planned. What can I learn from it?" It's about taking those negative judgments, those thoughts that we have, and turning them into opportunities for growth.
Yeah, like changing that inner script, right? Because we get so stuck in those automatic negative thought patterns that we don't even realize how limiting they are. Dweck reminds us that we actually have the power to choose a different story.
And that power, that choice, it comes from understanding that our brains aren't fixed.
Yeah.
We can actually rewire those thinking patterns with conscious effort and practice. It's like, think of it like building a muscle. The more you work on developing a growth mindset, the stronger it gets.
And just like building muscle, it takes time,
Yeah.
right? And consistency. We can't expect to transform our mindset overnight. There will be setbacks moments where we fall back into those old ways of thinking.
Oh, absolutely. It's a journey, not a destination. The important thing is being patient with ourselves, recognizing those slip-ups, and just keep practicing those growth mindset strategies.
And Dweck actually shares some amazing stories in the book about how even people at the top of their game, like Michael Jordan, embraced a growth mindset.
Yeah, Michael Jordan. I mean, even with all his incredible natural talent, he still had tons of setbacks, failures throughout his career. But what set him apart was that belief that he could always improve. He didn't let those challenges define him. Instead, he used them as fuel to work even harder, to come back even stronger.
It's really inspiring. Someone who achieved that level of success, yet he still had that hunger to grow,
Mm.
really shows you that a growth mindset isn't just for beginners. It's something we can benefit from throughout our whole lives.
Totally agree. And it's not just about, becoming a superstar athlete or anything. A growth mindset, it can help us in every single part of life, even our relationships.
Ooh, I like that. The idea of using a growth mindset in relationships, I don't think we often consider that, but it makes so much sense.
Right. Think about it. When couples run into conflicts, those with a fixed mindset, they might see it as like a sign that they're not compatible or a threat to the whole relationship. So they get defensive, they shut down communication, avoid dealing with the real issues.
So instead of working together, it becomes this battle of wills.
Exactly. But couples who have a growth mindset, they see those disagreements as opportunities to learn more about each other, to improve how they communicate, to deepen the connection.
So it's like they're saying, hey, we're in this together. We're going to figure this out, even if it's tough.
Right. They're not afraid to be vulnerable, admit they don't have all the answers, and to try to find compromises.
Because that willingness to learn and grow together, that's vital for any healthy relationship. Challenges become opportunities to build a stronger bond.
Exactly. So we've looked at education, work, relationships. Dweck really shows how much our mindset can shape our experiences in every area of life.
Yeah, she really does. And she doesn't just focus on individual growth either. She talks about the impact of mindset on whole organizations, their cultures. Think about a company, for instance, with a fixed mindset culture. Employees are afraid to take risks, innovation just stagnates, and any failure is seen as like a personal flaw instead of a chance to learn.
It creates this atmosphere of fear, of blame. People are more worried about protecting themselves than working together, pushing boundaries.
Yeah, it's stifling. But now imagine a company with a growth mindset culture. Employees are actually encouraged to experiment, to learn from mistakes, share ideas freely. Failure is seen as a necessary part of innovating. And feedback. Feedback's a gift, not a punishment.
That's the kind of place you want to work, because that kind of environment, it breeds creativity, people collaborate, there's this sense of shared purpose. Employees are more engaged, more willing to go the extra mile, and they feel like they actually own their work.
Right. It's about creating a culture where learning and growth are constant, both individually and as a whole team. And that starts with leaders who walk the walk themselves, they admit their own mistakes, and encouraged their teams to embrace challenges, always strive to be better.
Absolutely. And it's amazing to see how much impact something as simple as mindset can have, not just in our own lives, but on whole organizations, even entire societies.
That's what makes Dweck's work so impactful. She's challenging us to question our assumptions, to examine those thought patterns we have, and actively cultivate a mindset that supports our growth, our well-being. Recognizing that we're not limited by our abilities right now, that
Yeah.
we can learn, grow, achieve way more than we ever thought possible.
Right. We're all works in progress, and that's a good thing.
That is a great way to put it. This has been such an eye-opening deep dive into this whole world of mindset. I'm personally feeling super inspired to examine my own thinking,
Yeah.
figure out where I might be holding myself back with a fixed mindset. How about you?
Oh, totally. Always looking for chances to challenge my own thinking, you know? Embrace that growth mindset. Dweck's work, it's a constant reminder that we're all on this journey and it never really ends.
And that's a great thought to leave our listeners with, right?
Mm.
So as we wrap up this part, we want to challenge all of you out there. Think about one area of your life where you've maybe been holding back, letting that fixed mindset take over. Welcome back to our deep dive into mindset. We've been really exploring Carol Dweck's work on how our beliefs, about what we're capable of, how much we can achieve those beliefs, shape our entire lives.
And like we've been saying, embracing a growth mindset, really believing in your potential to learn and grow, that can have a huge effect, from personal achievements to relationships, even the culture of a whole company.
It really is about so much more than just getting good grades or landing that promotion. It's about, I don't know, approaching life with a sense of curiosity, always willing to take on new challenges, believing that we can always improve, always learn something new.
Yeah, it's powerful stuff. It's a really empowering message, especially in a world that often makes you feel like you need to have everything figured out, you know? Dweck's research is like this reminder that it's okay to be a work in progress. We all are. And that's actually a good thing because it means we have this built-in capacity to grow, to learn, to become even better versions of ourselves.
One thing I really appreciated about the book, Dweck emphasizes that nobody has a perfect growth mindset all the time. We all have moments where that fixed mindset voice pops up, right? Telling us, you're not good enough, or just give up, it's not worth it.
Oh, totally. It happens to everyone. It's like we're all a mix of both, and that's
Yeah.
normal. The key is to notice those fixed mindset moments, you know? Recognize those limiting beliefs that try to hold you back, and then consciously choose a different path.
Okay, so how do we do that? How do we actually switch from that fixed mindset to a growth one, especially when those old thoughts feel so stuck?
Dweck gives us some really practical strategies that we can use right away. One of the best is reframing how we talk to ourselves. So let's say you catch yourself thinking, I'm terrible at math. Try shifting it to, I haven't mastered math yet, but I'm willing to put in the effort to learn.
Right, goes back to that yet power up. So simple, but so powerful.
It is. Another thing that's really important is to focus on praising effort and process, not just the outcome. So instead of saying, you're so smart, to a kid who did well on a test, maybe try, I'm really impressed with how much effort you put into studying and how you work through those tough problems.
It's like shifting the focus from innate ability to the journey of learning and growing. Celebrating the whole process, not just the end result.
Exactly. And when it comes to feedback, try to see it as information that can help you improve, not as a personal attack. Ask questions to clarify, ask for specific examples, and focus on what you can learn from the feedback, how you can use it to grow.
It's about turning that feedback into, fuel for growth instead of letting it knock down your confidence.
Yes. And remember, this whole growth mindset thing, it's a constant process. There will be times you stumble, moments of doubt. The important thing is to keep practicing, keep learning, keep pushing yourself outside of that comfort zone.
So to wrap up our deep dive into mindset, we want to leave you all with a challenge. Think about one area of your life where maybe you've been holding back, letting that fixed mindset take the reins.
What if you approach that area with a growth mindset instead? What would become possible? What new challenges would you take on? What could you achieve if you really, truly believed in your ability to learn and grow?
This deep dive has just been a taste of the amazing power of mindset. We really encourage you all to explore Dweck's work more and embark on your own journey of growth. Remember, with a growth mindset, the possibilities are truly limitless. Thanks for joining us.